Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to talk about something which I'm pretty sure I've talked about before, but I'm coming at this from a slightly different point of view, I think, from a slightly different aspect. But if I can find the videos I talked about this before, I will link them below in case you haven't seen them, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you are probably new subscribers. If you are new here, welcome. I really appreciate it. If you're a returning viewer, welcome. I really appreciate you as well. Thank you very much for supporting my podcast and my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns, I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through my website YarnAddict.co.uk. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. So today I'm going to talk about knitting for other people, particularly gift knitting. So knitting stuff for other people that they don't know you're knitting for them. Knitting stuff for other people, if they ask you, I think it's a little bit different, because if somebody asks you to knit something for them, it's because they want that item. And then you just have to decide whether you're willing to do it for them, whether it's worth your time and effort, and whether you will enjoy it, or whether you will do it even if you're not going to enjoy it. Because if it's somebody who's special to you and they really want something and they want you to make it for them, you might decide it's worth making it for them, even though it might not be something you would normally knit or you don't particularly enjoy knitting. If a friend or a family member or somebody who's special to you will get enjoyment from that, you will probably want to knit it even if you don't really want to knit it, if you get what I mean. But sometimes you might feel like somebody in your life deserves a hand knitted gift, or a hand crochet gift, or a hand sewn gift, or whatever craft you're into. But assuming as you hear, you're probably into knitting or maybe crochet. And sometimes we think other people love handmade things as much as we do. And the truth of the matter is, they don't always. Normally I see posts on social media in the run up to Christmas saying things like, not everyone deserves a hand knitted gift or a handmade gift. Not everyone is knit worthy or crochet worthy or whatever. You don't have to knit gifts for everyone. And I agree with that. I rarely knit gifts, and if I'm going to knit something for someone, it has to be someone I know is going to appreciate it. And most of those people in my life that I will knit for are people who already do some kind of craft or have done some kind of craft. So they know how much hours go into it. People who are not knitters or crocheters or don't do any manual crafts, if you like. I mean, machine sewing I think is different, because I know it takes time, but the actual sewing on the machine is quicker. It's just all the cutting out and pinning and all the rest of it that takes time. But if you're knitting by hand or crocheting by hand or sewing by hand, it is really, really time consuming, and I think people who don't do it don't appreciate it. I told somebody who I used to know, she messaged me, I didn't know her that well, but she messaged me on Facebook and said she wanted to buy more local stuff, ethical stuff. She said, would I knit her a sweater? And I think maybe she asked for something else as well, I can't remember. And she said, I'll pay you. I was like, yeah, of course you will. So I'm not body shaming anyone, but I am quite big and I know how long it takes to knit me something. She was quite a lot bigger than I am, and I don't think she does anything handmade crafts, and I don't think she would appreciate how long it would take. And because this is my job, I would want to be paid a reasonable amount for it. And she also probably doesn't know how much yarn actually costs, because some people still think knitting stuff or making your own clothes is cheaper. In most instances, I don't think it is. So my main part of my job is designing for magazines and designing patterns for my own pattern line and teaching workshops. So doing one-off commissions for people is a very unusual thing, unless I can turn it into a pattern. And in this situation, I didn't feel like there was much in it for me, and she wasn't somebody I knew all that well or wanted to put the effort into making something for. So I said, I'm really sorry, but I don't actually do commissions like that. I design for magazines and teach workshops, blah blah blah. So that was fine. And then a few weeks later, I posted on Facebook that I'd finished knitting a pair of socks, and I can't remember how long it took me, but I posted something like, "Oh, I tracked myself knitting this pair of socks to see how long it would take me," and I posted on Facebook saying, "Finished a pair of socks. It only took me X hours." And she replied and she said, "Oh, I didn't realize the pair of socks would take that long." And I was like, "Yes, it's quite slow," and I'm a fast knitter, very fast knitter. So I was thinking to myself, well, that's why I don't want to knit your sweater. So just be aware of the fact that not everyone appreciates handmade stuff like people who make handmade stuff do. So I saw a post on, so I'm just going to refer to my notes a little bit so I don't forget what I'm supposed to be saying. I saw a post on either an online forum or social media a while ago, somebody who wanted to knit a present for somebody who was important to them. A friend, I think it was a friend, but I can't remember. And they wanted to make that person something special because they meant a lot to them. They wanted to say thank you for being there for them or supporting them or something like that. But she said, I don't know what to make them. They don't like socks. I don't think they appreciate scarves. I don't know whether they like, sweaters. I don't know. Basically, she went through the various options and she said, I don't really know what to make, so I don't quite know what they like. And everyone was saying, do you really need to make them something? Is it better to buy them something? Unless you know they're going to really appreciate it, why are you making them something? And I think because we feel like we put a lot of love and effort into that, people don't necessarily appreciate that. So if you are going to knit something for someone, will they actually like it? Have they ever expressed an interest in your handmade stuff? And I'm not just saying, oh, that's sweaty knitted, that's nice, that's lovely. Oh, you're so clever. Have they ever said, oh, I'd love something like that? Or if you're not sure, you could say, well, would you like something like this? If they compliment your new socks, you could say, well, I love wearing socks, because hand knitted socks, because they keep my feet really, really warm. And if they say, oh, I'd love that, then you could say, oh, would you? Okay. Or if they say something, you have a new lace shawl or a scarf or something, they say, well, I really like that, love that, then you could perhaps pursue that option. Or if they wear a lot of hats and things. But I would be very cautious to knit something for somebody who's never expressed an interest in wearing anything hand knitted, because people have different attitudes towards it, and some people don't like it. A friend of mine once, many, many years ago, knitted a beret for a friend. When she told me she was knitting this beret, I said to her, does your friend want this beret? I mean, it was beautiful yarn and quite expensive yarn, but my friend is not a very experienced knitter, and I knew that this beret would take her months, if not years, to make. And she said, no, I thought I'd make it as a surprise. So I said, okay, so she hasn't actually asked you to make it. And she said, no. And I said, well, does she wear berets? And she said, well, berets are lovely, because my friend loves berets. I'm not a beret person. I'd rather have a hat, just like a beanie or something like that. I do not particularly like a beret. So I said, well, are you sure she'd want a beret? And she was like, yes. And I said, are you sure these colours are right? That these are the colours she likes? Well, they're lovely colours, aren't they? And I was like, yes, but does she want them? And I didn't want to be too negative. And then in the process of knitting this, I met my friend, and this friend she was making it for, who I hadn't met before, she happened to be there as well. And my friend was actually knitting on this, and then she said, I'm actually knitting this for you as a present, which I thought was quite bold. And her friend went, oh, are you? Oh yeah, it's lovely. And alarms were ringing in my head. And then the next time I saw my friend, she said, oh, I showed it to so and so, she really liked it. And I went, are you sure? Are you sure she'll really like it? I thought she was a little bit lukewarm and a bit polite, so I was quite honest, blunt with her then. And she said, no, she loved it. And I went, okay, fine. So she eventually finished this beret, gave it to her. A few months later, she saw her and she said, oh, you're not wearing the beret I made you? And she went, no, it wasn't quite my thing. My daughter loved it, so I gave it to my daughter. And her daughter was a student, and my friend was horrified, and she said to me, she's given it to her daughter who's a student, she's going to ruin it because she's a student and they're irresponsible. I'm not sure how she can come to that conclusion, but she said, I'm really, really upset about it. If she doesn't want it, I want it back because I want it, because I put so much effort into that. And I said to her, well, once you give them something to someone, you can't really ask for it back. But she did eventually ask this thing back. She said, I don't really want your daughter to ruin it. Can I have it back? Because I will wear it. I think they're still friends. I'm not sure, but you can't do that. Once you give something to someone, that is theirs, it's not yours, and you have to just let go. And if they don't appreciate it, no matter how many hours you put into it, well, learn from that and don't ever make them anything again unless they ask you for it. And even if they ask you for it, there's no guarantee they're going to like it. So what do you do if you do make something for someone and they don't like it? I don't think you can ask for it back. If you get the impression that someone's reception, or if you think someone's reaction to what you've made them and gifted them is a bit lukewarm, it may just be that they're not used to being given something that you consider special. They may be a bit taken aback, especially if it's not like their birthday or Christmas. If it's just like a thank you gift, or I'm happy you're my friend kind of gift. Just give them a bit of chance to like think about it, because some people don't like being given things. And if you get the impression that they're not that keen on it, you could ask them, do you like it? Be honest with me. But if you say be honest with me, you have to accept that they may say, actually, it's not really my thing. I'm not sure I like it. Then you can say, okay, well, I did make it for you, but I don't want you to feel obliged to have it, because I put a lot of time and effort into it, and the yarn costs money or whatever. If you don't want it, I will keep it and either give it to somebody else or wear it myself. And then just put it down to experience and don't ever do that again. But if they say, no, I don't like it, because they might be too embarrassed to say they don't like it, but you never see them wear it or anything like that, just leave it. It's not worth ruining a friendship over a handmade gift. The other exception to that, I would say, is if they ask you for it and then they don't like it or don't wear it. I think you have more of a right to be upset than if they didn't ask for it. Unsolicited gift, if it's not appreciated or they don't like it, there's not a lot you can do. And you have to decide whether the friendship is worth ruining over that. I made a gift for somebody a couple of Christmases ago, I think it was. I hadn't made this friend I've made quite a lot of stuff for, because she does knit, but she's a very slow knitter. It's the same friend I was talking about earlier. So I do quite often make her something for Christmas or for a birthday. And I hadn't done it for a few years because I'd just been busy. And this particular year, I thought, a couple of years ago, she'd gone through a really rough time, and I thought was when I was in the phase of making brioche cowls. So I thought I'll make her a brioche cowl, and I was seeing her in a few days. I knitted this cowl in a long weekend where I was also teaching 2 workshops away. So I was teaching away 2 days, and I still managed to finish this cowl in, I don't know, 45 days maybe max. And then we ended up not meeting because something came up, so we couldn't meet. So I packed it up, posted it to her, and then we went away. And then we came back, and I rang her, and she said, oh, thank you very much for your present. And I was like, when did you like it? And she went, I haven't opened it yet. And I was like, oh, why is that? She said, they're so low, I just haven't felt like opening presents. So I said, well, it might cheer you up. Why didn't you open it? Because it might cheer you up, And then like a month later, we were knitting like towards the end of January when she finally opened it. And by this time I had been stewing for a few weeks, because I thought I really put myself out, put a lot of effort into making that. And the fact that she didn't even bother opening it really annoyed me. So I don't know whether she liked it or not. I've never asked her whether she liked it. She eventually opened it. She thanked me for it, so that was very kind of you. Whether she actually likes it or not, I have no idea. So I haven't asked her, because I kind of don't want to know. But I haven't made her anything since. So if you want to knit something for someone, but you're not sure they're going to like it, I think the best thing is to ask them. Just say to them, look, I would really like to knit you something. Is that something you would like? And if they say, oh, I don't know, maybe not. Or if they say, yes, I'd love to, then say, okay, what would you like me to knit you? And, if you want to knit them a sweater, that's fine. But if you were not thinking about a sweater, you were thinking about something smaller that took less yarn and didn't cost as much money, then don't say, what would you like? because they might say, oh, a sweater would be nice, and then you're thinking, oh, that's going to cost a lot of money and a lot of time. So if you say to them, would you like me to knit you something? Is that something you think you'd appreciate? And then you can say, well, I was thinking about something like a hat. I notice you wear a lot of hats. Would you like a handmade one, or a scarf, or gloves? Like I get really cold hands, so hand warmers for somebody who gets really cold hands. A cowl, a warm scarf that they can wear when they walk their dog, or whatever. If you want to knit a garment, you can say that, but garment is a big investment in time and money, so you may not want to go that far. So say to them, I thought maybe you'd like XYZ. Pair of socks, I noticed you complain about your feet being cold, or you walk your dog a lot. Would you like a pair of socks to wear in your walking boots, things like that. And then also find out if they have any sensitivities or allergies, because you might like really rough, hard wearing woolly wool, like Norwegian wool, which I cannot stand anywhere near my skin. But a lot of people are quite sensitive to that. You might like cashmere, silk. Some people don't like the idea of silk because of how it's harvested from silkworms. Some people may not want to wear animal fibers. Some people may not like cotton. Make sure you know what they would and wouldn't wear. And then also ask them about colours. Are there somebody who would prefer something that's fairly neutral, fairly conservative, or are they happy with bright colours, variegated hand-dyed yarns, self-striping yarns, that kind of thing? So just ask a few things before you go ahead and make them something. Or if you're not sure and you don't want to spend your precious time on something, making something that somebody may not appreciate, you could make something that could be for yourself or somebody else. And then if you see this person while you're knitting it, you could say, if they comment on it, you could say, oh, do you like this? Do you like these colors? Would you like something like this? And just try and gauge interest if you don't want to commit yourself to anything. But I always err on the side of caution. I very rarely knit for people. I have knitted a few things for friends and family. I'm more likely to knit for my family in Norway because they all appreciate it a lot more. Like I made my sister a beautiful lace shawl many years ago, and then next time we went to Norway in the winter, she was wearing this pink scarf that was a bit felted and matted or wrapped around the neck, and I horrified realized that was the beautiful lace shawl I'd knitted her 6 months before, and I thought she's ruined it. But she was wearing it every day, so I kind of thought, well, she's wearing it every day. She's obviously worn it a lot. She probably isn't going to wear a lace shawl, so the fact that she's wearing it as a scarf every day is better because at least she's wearing it. I've knitted my nephew's stuff before, and they've worn it. They knitted some hats with like reflective yarns, so you would like when cars and stuff shone on it in the dark, it would like reflect. And they wore them for 2 or 3 years. So I would happily knit for people who appreciate it, but I won't commit to knitting big things for people just because I don't have time, because my job is knitting and most of my knitting time goes towards what I need to do for my job. So let me know what you think. Do you knit for people? What approach do you take? Will you knit people surprise gifts, or will you just be very careful and conservative about who you knit for and what you knit? Let me know in the comments below, share your experiences, and let me know what you think about this. If I have any other videos, which I'm pretty sure I do, I will link them below and at the end of this video. So if you haven't seen those, you can go and have a look at those. I'll also link my last video that I uploaded at the end, and do explore my channel if you're new here. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.